So today, here we're gonna talk about. Actually, it's the same topic. We will talk about under the theme of precious planet, Buddha and Mother Nature. That is our theme for this four Sunday talk. So last time we were talking about the preciousness of the life on Earth. So today we will talk about importance of the awakened minds for the planet. Awakened mind, the mind that has true knowledge and that is aware of what's happening now, what's gonna happen later on. Then also need experience or knowledge from back history. So the lacking of knowledge doesn't make us only a little bit naive. It makes us wild, like barbarian, and sometimes lack of knowledge, we also lost our humanity. So to become a real human being, to become a human being that has a golden heart, knowledge is always important. It's essential thing to have a golden heart, to become a real human being. So that's why even in all kind of situation we need awakened mind. We need awareness. Awareness that can see past, future, present. Seeing just front of you is not enough, right? We have to see further. So what is awakened mind? Sometimes it looks like all kind of mind is awakened mind, because every mind has a quality of being aware of something. But here, the main definition of awakened mind, I use here awakened mind. Sometimes we use wisdom, right? But it's same thing. Wisdom or awakened mind, very similar. So the meaning of awakened mind, Nagarjuna explained that Sherab Tendun Pap means awakened mind is a mind that understands what is fact, the meaning of truth, right? So that it's important to know what is fact, and the knowledge that understands what is fact, that's called awakened mind. Other minds, sometimes they know what they are thinking and they know what is happening, but sometimes not getting the fact. So in that case, all kind of minds are not awakened mind. There are a lot of deluded mind. So then where we are talking about awakened mind in Buddhism all the time. But in here, when we are talking about how to handle the current situation that we are facing now, and how to preserve a future happiness for next generation, right? In other words, how to preserve environment. Even in that case, awakened mind is very important. It is not very different than Buddhism. So always we need awakened mind to end suffering. Remember what Shantideva said in his the chapter of wisdom at the beginning. What he said, "Yala dita thamje ne tube shirab tuandu so, ti china dungeda shiwar dibe shirab ki." He was saying the point. All Buddhist teaching is to develop wisdom, and who want to end the suffering try to get wisdom. That is message. So the main point is he was saying the wisdom or awakened mind is solution to end the suffering. So wisdom mind is not only solution to end suffering in your spiritual practice, in your daily life, what we are facing now. In that point, the wisdom mind is also important, awakened mind. Then how, right? How? We talked yesterday, if someone is there, when we're talking about karma, right, we say that it says one of Buddha's teaching, the karma is resource, or is karma is the resource of our happiness and our suffering. So all kind of happiness that we have, all kind of suffering that we have, is result of our karma, means our action, right? So all our problems that we are facing in our daily life in this generation, which gonna face with following generation, all are result of our action, right? So result of our action. So even in Buddhism, even in every same thing, to change our action, right? To change our behavior, we need awakened mind there. So in that case, it's saying that awakened mind, it is solution to end the suffering or uneasiness. And then when we don't have an awakened mind, when we are not aware of situation, then we keep doing same mistake again and again and again. Since we are keep doing our mistake again and again, then we cannot end the problem. But if there is a cause and condition, the result will be there. Even if it is a delusion or illusion, hallucination. When you have a cause to have hallucination, since there is cause and effect, even the hallucination, which is not real, will be there, will not end. Thus, in real life, if we keep doing same mistake and again, then surely we cannot end the result. The problem will be there, right? Problem will be there and cannot stop. So in that case, it's really important to focus on our action. That is the main teaching. To change our behaving, to change our action, we have to be aware of what's happening. Otherwise, we will not do, because we are human beings, right? We are human beings. We have our own brain in our own head. So that means nobody can program us. If we are like a system, they will install things, a software in there, then we will act like that. So right then, we don't need kind of wisdom. We need only we have to do is we have to install our program in there, right? So like then act totally different. Look at your iPhone. When you update it, then it behave like different thing. Even you could not how to use it. Sometimes it's hard to use it, but it looks like new totally. But not, we are human being. We have our own thought. We follow our own comment. That's why we need awakened mind. We have to learn by ourselves. We have to be aware of situation. Then we can change a little bit. Awakened mind is really important. It's important all the time, everywhere. But doesn't mean that when I say we need awakened mind, it doesn't mean that we have to believe everything that we were told, right? But thing is that we have to be mindful on our action. Then we have to be alert on fact. Then we have to know, right, what impact there because of our action. Sometimes our action, seems very small, but it can have big impact there. I always feel that when I go for shopping, I pick up a lot of tiny things. Oh, that is only $2, that is only $3. Then I put a lot of things in my cart. Then when I have to pay, then I realize, right? Then there's a big thing. Then you even cannot believe your own eyes. How come I didn't spend that much? I spent really tiny thing, like a $2 and $3 thing. Then how come it's 300 or like 200? So then you look at there, then you look at your receipt, then everything is there, then everything is perfect, right? Something like that. A tiny, small things can cause a big impact there. So then we really have to be aware on this thing. In that case, then I think awareness is main key to preserve environment. Even though you have a really warm heart, even though you are really compassionate, even though you want to do a lot of good things for other beings, even though you are what do you call patriot. Sorry, I forget the pronunciation of it. You love your country. You want to do something for it. But what you need is, you need awareness. If you don't have awareness, no matter, what you think, always there's not enough and efficient result. It reminds me of one story, right? Some people are feeding statue with food and milk. Thing like that, right? If you are like that person feeding a stone statue with food and milk, what do you think? Right? You are aware. So you want to feed, but you are not aware that is a stone, that you are just pushing food into the mouth figure of stone. Then there's a big rumor in India. Earlier, it also happened. People think that statue will drink milk. then God appreciate for public, then people go to feed the milk to the statue, like they did it. So sometimes awareness is important, not sometimes, all the time. So then if you become like that, but I'm not talking specific for that thing, I'm talking as general. If you are not aware of things, if you could not understand the fact that even though you have a warm heart, even though you are like really compassionate, really generous, really devoted, what you are doing is something that is not really helpful. So in that case, in the Buddhism, when they're talking about Bodhisattva's wisdom, it's so beautiful. They mention, Asanga mentioned many wisdom of Bodhisattva. The one is they call six wisdom, but the first four is they are put together with Four Noble Truths. Then I think that is really interesting, right? He said that they count as Bodhisattva's wisdom, aware of suffering, right? Aware of cause of suffering, aware of cessation, then aware of solution, right? This first four things, that is we need, right? Aware of suffering, that is really important. If you are fine in your tiny house, that is not enough. You have to be aware of suffering all over the world. You don't have to know suffering of each individual's household, but you have to know like a general view over the world, what's happening, what's big problem there, right? Then you will know how important is care about environmental issue. Otherwise, if you just look at where you live, then everything seems fine. Then you think everything is fine, then that is wrong. So I think it's really important. In earlier time in Tibet, we always feel that during the World War II and this kind of thing, Tibet has like nothing is happening there, and everybody thinks everything is fine. Everything is not fine that time. A lot of other countries are suffering. They are fighting for their own liberation, and all this, a lot of crazy things are happening. But people who live there were not aware of outside world. Then they think everything is fine. But we cannot be like that. We have to know what is happening, right? Climate problems, as I mentioned my last talk, big thing. It will impact everybody who eat the food. If you don't eat food, if you don't breathe oxygen, then that's different, right? Or who you don't need to drink water. Otherwise, this will impact. This will affect every single being. Then there are countries that are facing withdrawal. There are countries overloaded the population. If you are in Wyoming, or somewhere, that you think a population is not issue, right? Not many people there. But it's not like that. Population is issue. Big issue. Just imagine, when I think about the Indian population, then you have to think that much people living in that small space. Right? Then that for example, the whole India is not only for human being. Right? They have a lot of other species living there. Then I understand that thing because I kept fish tank. Then I know how important in the fish tank. You cannot put too much fish there. There's a number. You have to put the fish there, a certain number of fish with a certain gallon of water. You don't think, that water tank can feed like 100 fish. Just put the 100 fish there, then a lot of fish will die because of insufficiency of oxygen, right? So similarly, then we are not talking about oxygen this moment, but over population is big issue. As I mentioned earlier, human beings are different than animal. Animal don't build the house. Animal will not buy the land. Animal will not do the mining thing. Animals doesn't have that big machine to cut the forest. Now look at those big machines. I was so shocked when I see those machines. Actually, it's brilliant, machine that made by our thought. Like as one machine can cut hundreds of trees in just maybe 1 hour. Something like that. We have that kind of machine. There's no machine that can, plant 100 trees in 1 hour. Right? We are really potential to damage things. Then other species will not do it. So in that case, it's important to know what is happening. So being aware of suffering or uneasiness. Then there are many countries that facing with drought, no food, right? Then don't think that there's no food in their country, but it will not impact us. It will affect. Then knowing the problem is not always solution, right? Then the second one, Kunjun Sheva, means knowing the cause of problem. Cause of problem, right? And during the Buddha's time, he was not looking for the cause of problem of environmental issue. He was looking for the cause of the problem that we are dealing with in our daily life. But very similar thing. There is no in a big scale of country, society, or all those things without individuals. And individual is matters for everything. So in that case, it is very similar. The cause of those sufferings start with all individuals' mind. That is matter, right? Individual, each one is kind and understand everything. Then there's no big problem in society. if each individual is not doing well, then society cannot do well. The country cannot do well. But some country they have only one head, one brain. Then these are different, right? For like whole, people are aware, but people who is leading, like a chairman, then it has all power. Then that is different story. But I'm talking about country that has freedom, or like a society that is not leading by only one person. So then the cause of all those environmental crises is surely the big impact has to do with some people's thought, but there are a lot of impact that are contributing by every individuals. As I said, small things that we are doing also can form a big impact afterward. We always blame that those factories are doing crazy things, but just think careful who is buying those things. We are individuals saying that is wrong, that is not good, but we are feeding them, we are buying them, we are buying their product, right? So these kind of things happening, and so it's important to know cause of this uneasiness. Then one awareness what we need. Then knowing the problem, knowing the how problems are happening is not always enough. We need a solution there. Then we also have to know that solution is effective, that is something plausible. We are talking about vaccine, right? So we say, oh, it's not to say that the vaccine is enough, it's working. To say that, then you have to you need kind of confirmation there. Without confirmation, then you cannot contribute the vaccine for all people. Similarly, that all kind of work people you studied, you have to know that the result is something that possible. For me, if I want to make all human being as a monk, that is not impossible, right? I cannot make all human being a monk. It's not going to happen, right? So like that, when you comes with idea, first have to know that idea or that goal is something possible. If goal is really impossible, then working for it is always useless. So then you need aware of that thing, right? So when we're in environment issue, where we're talking about free and greenhouse gas, that is not impossible. That is possible. Because at the beginning, it's almost like free greenhouse gas. Greenhouse gas sounds like funny when I say free greenhouse. Then all houses are like red or yellow. So yeah, so we created it, right? We created the issue. Then that is the fact. Look at the diagram. climate change is there. We're also facing this time. I keep hearing from Tibet, and when I talk, we always like we have this kind of habit to ask how is weather, right? When we're talking about weather, all where they are crazy. They say, "Oh, what's happening in Tibet? We have a lot of snow on the mountain during this time. That is so weird." Then in here, even where I live in Michigan, we have snow in April, not only one time, many times. And then surely, other places, like we have like extended teen winter, sort of, like um, I had that mind earlier, when I was in monastery. Then we have like big farming place. We don't have the animal that much, but we have field of crops and rice. These things we have. Then, but there's always the harvesting goes wrong, and we spend more than we get back. But we have to do it. That is kind of the law. You cannot keep your field without farming, right? So in that case, we are not interested in the field. Then what I was thinking is, at that time, I don't care that much about rainwater. I always feel appreciate when there's no rain, right? Then the farmers, other farmers, who are depending on field or farming, they complain saying like, "Oh, there's no rain this time. Oh, there's too much rain." I feel like I don't care. Like, then I wish there's less rain, then it's more easy for me. No need to wear, water shoes, or, then there's always prayers, all these, monasteries, activities, events will go smoothly. So, that kind of unaware mind I had. Then later on, I thought I was totally wrong. Even the rainwater or this weather doesn't matter for me, but it still is important. Actually, indirectly, it will impact. Where we're talking about environmental refugees. We are not talking about future fiction story, like those fiction story, alien will come, aliens, right? Aliens or what? The outside people will come and destroy our world and do these things. It's not like that fiction. Environmental refugee is real thing. It is happening. When people have no food to eat, then they will not stay there. Remember, in the Bible, there's stories, right? So people are going here and there, lack of food. Then when we have this kind of really dangerous situation in different countries, then it will increase environmental refugee. Then those refugees will cause another problems. I was reading one article is talking about somewhere in Bangladesh, those people are feeding on fish, and that is kind of their tradition. Then somehow, I think immigrant or a lot of refugees came there, and the population increased, and nowadays they have trouble to get fish. Right, so like that. So we have to be aware how we're connected, and these kind of problems. Then how it connected to you, your small deed really, make huge damage there. Then the solution is always everywhere. There is solution for everything. There is solution for everything. Then don't ask me why everybody is dying. Where is the solution for death? Okay, that's different story, right? Maybe death is not problem. That is nature. So the solution for everything means, if you did not think about solution, then that is different. If you try to find, right, a solution, you will find solution there. That is fact. That is also quality of being impermanent. You can change it. You can fix it. So in that case, we need awakened mind to find solution. So then, what are solutions, right? Solutions are just I think about solutions, right? Now there's two things, like to be aware on the problems, like the world population. World population is not problem by number; it's problem by the act what we're human being doing, as I mentioned earlier, right? Then also resource what we have. Then the problems of clean water. You might have clean water to drink. There are a lot of human beings they don't have clean water. Right, in this world we have oceans. We have ocean there, but it's not fresh water, salt water. You cannot drink it. And then some places have a lot of lakes. Then some places they don't have. It's like very dry. Then depend on get the water from underground. You have to dig like 9-10 stories underneath to put the pipe there to get the water. Then that water is also limited. If you take a lot of water out there, then one day your machine says there's no water. Then you have to dig another one. Then that is issue, right? And then water and inefficiency. Then some people get water, not clean water. Lot of cities. I heard that 90% of cities in the worldwide, they send their sewage into the water supply, right? Then that can cause disease. Disease is not made by God or something. Disease are made by us. We are making it. Even I don't think animals are making disease, right? So you can say they carry it. Definitely they can be a host of disease, but they are not making it. We are making it. So these kind of traits. And so then the solution what we have is, or always we're always talking about something that is very common, using LET, right? A lot of people might be using LET to reduce their electricity bill, but if you think carefully, you can use LED bulbs to help environment, right? It will not help only your pocket, it will help the world, right? Just think broader. Then compost, it will not help only your garden, it will help environment. This is a good thing, right? Then walking, riding bike, this will have both benefit. It's good for you, it's good for your health, right? And then it also good for environment. So all those, what thing you can do for environment is always good for you if you think carefully. You don't have to, sacrifice yourself. You can take benefit there too. So in this case, then eating habit, right? Eating habit, they're saying like, I think that's good idea, buying local food to reduce this kind of green gas. Then if you can, then organics, to have less poison on the ground, right? Then eating less meat. All these are good for you. Then if you want more exercise, then plant something in your backyard. The best thing. Instead of keeping it empty and cutting grass all the time, paying for, where our human beings are funny. What we do, we have a big backyard, they will pay money for it, to clean it, cut it, right? They will pay money to some place called gym, or they will go there to do exercise, right? Then these are like, then we buy sometimes compost. Then we could pay money to throw away our own garbage, right? So we are doing this kind of funny thing all the time, spending money all the time, then creating more problems. So sometimes walking in your backyard and all these things could be good for you and good for environment. Then eating less meat. Right? Meat is not that easy. It comes from I'm not talking in the terms of being compassionate, being very religious. I'm talking here about environmental way, because a way to preserve environment. I always think we don't have to think how to eat insect, right? There are kind of solutions saying like that in the future it's really hard. We have to learn how to eat insect to get protein or these things. Honestly, we are not that far to think about how to eat insect. Instead of thinking to how to eat insect, just learn how to eat less meat. And that will help environment. And because once we have habit, they will feel like always that. Nowadays we have habit with brand of the company. No matter even the same food, we need that brand, right? So you will say, I will eat only a rice from that brand, right? Then this is we human beings. We keep eating same thing again and again. They will feel like we need exactly that thing. So I think this what we can do for environment. Then that is good for us. It is really good for us. Walking, exercising, and the public transportation, always, pulling car, these are really good. But this time, we have COVID-19, that coronavirus. So then, maybe these kind of things are a little bit exceptional, right? I don't recommend people to go into the public transportation unless, you have no other choice. Right? But in general, these are nice, public transportation. Then pulling car. Pulling car is maybe one most interesting thing. You give a ride for somebody, then you get full time to talk. you experience other person very well while you're doing pulling car. You can see how human being have each other, right? So you can see all those things. So anyway, here to understand all these things, we need awakened mind. We have to aware of what's happening and what is issue, and then what is solution, what you can contribute. You don't have to go out with big banner to protest, to contribute something for environment, right? You can start with your changing your behaving and giving message. So then that is real practice. I always thinking this is the practice that come from the warm heart, right? It's not only for you. It's you are thinking about bigger scale of the well-being of not only human being, all creatures. And then you are doing something, right? So then that is really helpful, and I think it's important. It's really important. If each individual will not work hard, and then we could not do that much. Then slowly we will end up to deny the fact. A lot of people deny fact because they don't have solution. They could not handle the solution, right? Then the last option is just close your eye and deny. Right? So we don't want it. We don't want to deny the fact. We want to know the fact. We want to understand the fact. We want to change it. We want to make it better. So I was talking here and there and going around, I think. So the message is awakened mind and awareness is important in Buddhist spiritual practice. Is also equally important in environmental care. Don't think environment is different than your own house. It is same thing. Thank you very much. And actually it is 12 o'clock. Then I will stop here, and I also run out of talk. So time up, talk up. Okay, thank you very much.